up, everyone? This is Cam coming at you with Shepherds of Men, and this is the Movement Podcast. I'm here with O and JP and Wilson, and we are incredibly pumped to be hanging out with each other tonight and talking about some shit that's going to change your life. And we would like to just do our disclosure. Hopefully you've gotten used to this at this point. If you have randomly come across our podcast or maybe been referred to this podcast by a friend of yours that doesn't know you that well, and you are easily offended, or maybe just very PC, or maybe just not as mentally tough as what we're hoping you will be by the time you get done, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not going to tell you not to listen. I'm going to tell you to listen and open your mind and maybe consider some things you hadn't thought about to this point. We're going to come at you as we always do. The truth that we have is the truth that we believe, and we do not believe in holding back. You will learn that about us. We were not called here to be pansies. We were not called here to speak lightly or pussyfoot around things. We were called here to be up in your face, and if you don't like us, it's okay. We just hope we help you, and the reason we do is because we actually care about you being better. So, with that being said, the topic for episode 5 is Stand in the Gap, okay? It's going to be a little bit of a different tone, a little bit of a different flavor than some of the past episodes. We are going to get up in it from the importance of a masculine role in different arenas of life and how important it is to be the person that is the rock for your family, that's the rock for your community, for your church if you do that, for your kids, for your wife, in your work environment, quite frankly, in every piece of your life. And I know that is not a popular thing nowadays, and I know that gender roles are so blurred nowadays, and I know we're going to get a lot of messages and emails about this episode, and that is quite all right. But the truth of the matter is there is a role that was put there for a reason, and there are not enough men standing in that gap and filling that role as there should be. So we're not going to hold back, like I said, and I'm going to go around the room and just kind of talk about, I'm going to ask some questions. Some of those are rhetorical. Some of them, we'll actually get into or whatever, but I really want people to start thinking about as you're listening to this, am I the rock for my family? Am I the person that they can lean on? Am I the person that they can, when it's hitting the fan, is there anybody else that's stepping up saying, I got this, And I think we hit on that, episode 1 or 2, we talked about, I got this. And, that could not be a more important thing in my mind. So 1, 2, and 3, we hit on that. So just a, real quick, want to say, as you're getting into this, this is designed to help you. Okay. If you find that it is helping you, if it's stretching you and it's growing you, make sure you tell somebody else about it. Don't be selfish and just share and not share this. Don't just keep this to yourself and hope that you get all you can out of it. Tell some other people about it. We don't charge for it. We don't ask for anything. All we ask is that you go out and you tell some other people, and we can all grow together. We're coming from a perspective of not being perfect, but we're striving for excellence every day. And I believe that we're doing a pretty damn good job of growing together, and we want you to grow with us. So I'm going to go around real quick. Everybody say a quick hello. And then we'll get into what's going down. So, what's happening with you this week? What's the mentality around the house? How's it hanging?
It's hanging. Things are good. Things are real good, man. Good productive week as far as the household goes, goal setting, whatnot. Mindset's always sharp. Do we have a good time in my house, man? There's not really ever a serious moment, and that's sometimes a problem. But we have fun. No, I've actually, this week has been a lot of mindset growth. Last episode, we talked about mindset, and a lot of that changed a lot of my perspective this week. And I think it's a lot of it was the reason I crushed my goals, man. But when I looked over your notes for the episode, dude, I was pumped to hear what you had to say about today and to kind of feed into that a little bit. But yeah, it's been a good week.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'm going to echo that. I'm pretty excited about this because I think this is the whole point in what we're talking about. Just it's the Shepherds of Men, just as a goal. As far as my household, I mean, it's awesome. My wife is several weeks pregnant now. Got to see the baby today. We went into the,
Nice. They took it out?
Through an ultrasound. No, wow. No, ultrasound. No, but it was cool. We didn't even have to pay for it, which is weird in the medical world. We went in there and went back, and he was like, man, we got some time, because he rolled the little ultrasound thing in there, and he was like, we got some time. Figured we'd have some fun. And I was like, well, that's not my idea of fun. Well, my wife is on the table, but let's go for it. So, no, but it was a good week. To be honest with you, getting ready and getting prepared and just what we've been doing with this over the past several weeks, or actually a couple months now, building up to this and stuff. Just the discipline and dedication that I've put to growing myself, because I know it's a responsibility. If I'm going to be flapping my gums and talking to people, and people are going to be hearing what I'm saying, then I have taken it more seriously than I ever have in my life. I was growing in the past, but it's a different level now. Plus, being surrounded by other men that I know pushes me. It's exciting. And what's cool is for the past few months since we started this, I've been digging pretty hard and stuff, and it's amazing how in a couple short months the fruits of your labor, of the boring things that you do every day, just to stay dedicated and stuff like that, start to show up, and it starts to show up in your business, it starts to show up in your family, in your life and stuff like that, and good things happen when you make good choices. Good habits return a lot of rewards. So. Good stuff, man.
Love it. What about you, Wilson?
Yeah, man. Echo everybody. What
your
y'all
household's
said.
Always.
Man, my household's always up and running and going and having fun. And if you're not having fun, man, you need to start developing a better lifestyle. But for us, yeah, it's just fun. Good times. Always positive mental attitude is our household motto. We don't like negativity. Take that somewhere else. And this week's been great. Very productive for work and business and different things of that matter. And I like what JP was talking about. I enjoy just the days like this, coming here to record and actually be able to do something just kind of gets me fired up. And I think a lot of us had some adversities this week, and which is pretty crazy that we were all about kind of getting hit from all over. And just really cool to see that we have accountability and have each other to lean on and know that, if you're not out there having any adversity, man, you're not really growing in life, and you're not really doing much. So standing in the gap, whenever I heard your notes and saw your notes and stuff, it was really fired up about being here and just kind of sharing with everybody.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted people to hear, because if you're listening, like, nobody's going around the table bitching about how hard their week was or how difficult this was or traffic or, the kids were crying or whatever. But I guarantee you our life is just much life as your life is life, right? Crap happens.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, just for us personally, one of the most challenging weeks that I can remember in my life, and also one of the most blessed weeks that I can remember in my life. And to some people, that's going to sound absolutely insane. But as you guys know, we choose to see those challenges or those things that hit you as opportunities for growth, as opportunities for the next step. And man, the fact of the matter is, at our house, we're still winning, man. Like, it doesn't really matter. And we're winning at another level because of the challenge, right? I mean, but it really hit me about this topic, standing in the gap, this week more so than ever, on how freaking important it is as a man to have your stuff together, because so many people are counting on you. So many, your kids, your wife, other people's kids, other people's parents. I mean, like your role in society is so stinking important. It just cannot be shoved to the side. It cannot be like, you can't be lazy about it. Like, you got to be getting better all the time. And what JP was talking about getting stretched throughout this project, man, me too. I think all of us could say that.
Absolutely. And
thank God, because we got a role to fill. We got a role to fill in our families and in our communities. We also have a role to fill now as shepherds of men. Right. And we're not allowed to have days off. Right. And that's the mentality that we want to bring with this. So, I want to talk about it with parenting, relationships, all that kind of stuff, but just some questions just to kind of be thinking about it. For listeners especially, are you aware of the gaps that are around you that need to be filled? Like, are you even in a position, in a mentality of being aware of where you can fill a gap, whether it be in a relationship or be in work or whatever it is? Are you expecting someone else to fill the gap? Like, are you the kind of person that's sitting back and you recognize it? You recognize where there's a void, but you're expecting somebody else to step up. That's freaking weak, man. Like, listen, and there's plenty of times I'd love to say I'm not guilty of thinking, man, hopefully somebody else will step up real quick, and I won't have to this time. But the fact of the matter is, if you think that, it's a perfect opportunity for you to stretch yourself and get in there and fill that void. Are you controlling your attitude and your actions? We just talked about that. Like, when it is going down, when it's not perfect, which is pretty much every day. I'm in on this ball of mud longer than anybody in this room. I have yet to have a perfect day. Now, I've gone to bed happy as a clam just about every day. right? Because I choose to.
Right.
And I know that's a weird old saying, happy as a clam. I don't even know what it means.
I was just going to ask, just out of curiosity.
I think it's because they smile all the time.
Are they smiling?
Yeah, because it's the shell, and it looks like a smile.
Because it's the shape of the shell.
You're looking at it this way.
So so I'm looking at it more like the straight mouth, like just straight across. I
What's
guess
the
if
straight
you
mouth emoji mean?
curve it up at like a 45-degree angle, it does look like it's.
If you've ever eaten clams, you can't be that happy.
No.
They're disgusting.
No, but
Clam chowder.
Yeah, if a clam can be happy, then you need to quit bitching.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Okay, so this is a question I have for you guys, all right? And whoever chime in however you want to, but what does it look like to be equipped to fill those gaps? Okay, so like we're talking about filling the gap. Now, if you're going to fill a gap, if you're going to fill a void, then you have to be equipped to do it, right? You can't just step in and, be an expert or whatever, if that makes sense. So like, and I'm talking about from an emotional standpoint. Like, are you emotionally stable? How are you preparing? Like, what are you doing to make sure you are emotional? Where's your foundation for your emotional stability, right? Mm-hmm. What are you doing on a daily basis to make sure that you're the rock for your family on that level? From a financial standpoint, are you filling the gap financially? Like, is your family struggling because you hadn't figured it out yet, right? I've been there. Like, there was times when I wasn't filling that gap the way I needed to. And you gotta get real with yourself and say, we got to do some different things. So, but what does it look like to prepare to win financially, like on a daily basis? Spiritually, personally, I think everybody just spiritually, whatever they believe. For me, I'm a Christian. I believe in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The closer I get to him, the better my life gets, the better my family gets taken care of. I believe he takes care of his boys. So I have to grow in that area of my life every day. Right. From a mental standpoint, again, mental toughness, leadership, and I know I'm throwing a bunch of them. We'll come back through. Physical. Now, I know JP is going to go, from a physical. I mean, I'm definitely filling the gap, right? And he's smirking. But again, I say this all out of jealousy. But the truth is, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Are you filling the gap to be the example on how to be physically fit and healthy? And are you also just taking care of yourself so you can physically be available for your family and for your community? Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you just don't have the energy to do it. Mm-hmm. But also from a physical standpoint, one thing I wanted to hit on was time. So not just health-wise, but time-wise. So physically, are you present? Right?
So are you question with that?
Yeah, go for it.
Are you wanting more of like a personal note to it, or just what's on our mind?
Yeah, rock and roll.
Cool.
So I mean, let's start with emotional. Like how important is it, or what does it look like to be equipped to fill the emotional gaps?
Before you start, do you have a T-shirt that said "Jesus is my homeboy"?
No, but I should get that.
Okay.
You don't have one? I'm actually surprised.
I was just curious.
Surprised about that.
Because I've heard you say that several times. Like Jesus takes care of his boys.
He does.
Which I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, have you seen my wife?
I don't think it's as stuffy as some religions try to make it out to be. But when you said that, I thought about, you know what? I bet he's got a Jesus is my homeboy.
Jesus is cool, man. That dude.
It's not even that some religions make it out to be. Let's make it real here. I think it's that some organizations make it out to be.
Oh yeah.
Some
right.
It's the difference between religion and faith, though.
That's what I'm
saying.
Right. Exactly.
Anyways, carry on. I know you were about to.
Mindset.
Before I was interrupted, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were about to.
We talked about
this on us over here.
We'll give you the lashes later. No, but I think it's the you're the rock. People can come to you and I don't want to say unload, but man, it happens. Your family can come to you and unload, and you're not going to, you don't play into their emotions, but you are supportive. You listen. I think part of that is, and something I have been doing in the mornings before I start work. Honestly, it's something I have had to do personally, is just take a moment to just not give a shit about nothing and just breathe. Meditation, right? It's just my form of saying meditation in long form. So, but it is, man.
Meditation, not giving a shit about nothing.
Not giving a shit about nothing.
That's a T-shirt too.
Yeah.
I'll coin it. We're good. We're
You okay?
But I mean, the wife's gone for work. Mia's gone to school. Eric's at the preschool. It's just me here and the dogs. And I'm sitting at the table in there. I've finished my pages for the morning, my reading for the morning. And I just sit there, dude. And I close my eyes. I sit back in the chair and I just breathe. Because in my profession, it's really easy to get overwhelmed. I see it every day.
Yeah.
It's really in life. I mean, really, I think anyone's profession, it really is. If you can't manage a schedule, even if when you can manage a schedule, it does, man. Just little things can add up and you're done. Meditation is huge, man, because you can just sit there and everything's gone.
Yep.
Breathe in, breathe out, And it sounds so corny, man, but and I thought it was, and I did it today, and I was like, damn, I actually feel pretty good.
All right.
And then I did the next day, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna ever miss a day on this. But I did miss a day this week, and I had a rough day. I mean, and I don't say that, but man, it was like I missed my one thing, and my whole day went. And I had to, and I was like, okay, now we're gonna accomplish this. We're gonna crush this dude. Screw this day. And I finished strong because I kept the mindset strong. But man, meditation is my foundation personally for emotional stability.
Well, the trickle down effect of what you just said of missing that gets you emotionally stable for yourself that day is that now you're not emotionally stable for everybody else that you come home to.
Right. Yep.
Right? Because not only you didn't just miss, and this is how I keep myself accountable to stuff is. Like, if I miss it for me and I screw myself, I'm kind of like, well, that was just stupid. But if I miss it and I screw my kids or my wife, that's a whole different ballgame, man. That's just selfish.
Yeah.
I
think another thing is, too, is with Eric, I'm still convinced, he was put on this earth to test my patience. And you guys will probably hear me say this a lot because he was. And because he knows what triggers me, and I know he does it on purpose. I'll say no, like, hey, no, we're not going to do that right now. You're not even just no. It's, no, we're going to do that right now. We'll do it later. And he'll just and stomp his feet real hard. And then he'll run to a room or he'll run to Candy. And I'm like, you mother father. That's not how this works. But I started catching myself doing that. And that's really all to the growth and staying with you guys is staying up to date with you guys or whatever, stretching myself to be one of the guys here at the table was recognizing that weakness and honing in. And that's exactly why I started meditating, dude. It was just like you said, Goose Fraba, or whatever you Wusa, right? Goose Fraba, Wusa.
Goose Fraba.
Hakuna Matata, whatever you want to call it, in whatever language we're speaking. But yeah, I twist my mustache.
Oh,
can you do that?
You can't do that.
Yo, can I just say, we got to stop praising Josh because he'll get in that fixed mindset.
That's very true.
Right?
That's very true.
We praise your work ethic in the gym, Josh.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we praise your effort to grow a beard.
Yeah.
The effort, not the actual beard, just the effort.
I mean, there's a little bit there. I
was impressed.
It's pretty good.
I'm pretty happy.
Put my glasses back on. I think I can see.
What do you? Oh,
ouch!
Let me get the microscope. Is that here?
See, this is how we stay emotionally stable.
That's exactly right.
It's like you get pounded by your friends, and you're like you're like a steel door. You can't be hurt.
So what was the? I'm not.
I rambled on.
Are you done?
Emotionally,
are you done?
What are you doing to equip yourself to be emotionally fill that gap or fill the gap?
So being able to emotionally fill the gap. So yeah. I mean, so obviously I'm gonna echo what you said with that because. I think if you don't have a morning routine, you're starting your day off wrong. I mean, just in my opinion. I'm a big proponent of get out of the bed when your alarm goes off. Because if you hit the snooze button, you're giving yourself an out right off the bat. So you're automatically telling yourself it's okay to slack off, like right off the bat. Have I completely figured that out? Hell no. Am I working on it? Hell yes.
Right.
But get out of the bed, when your alarm goes off and make your bed. First thing you do is make your bed. Win right off the bat. Win. I heard a Navy SEAL talking about that, and man, it was cool. I think you can go search it. It's just called Making Your Bed. And this dude is like pristine, but he's got a great point, and it goes back to stuff that, like you said, you're going to hear some of this stuff repeated over and over. It's the small things that you do that build up to be big things. So the reading and things of that nature, but I think part of it, standing in the gap is being cool when the shit hits the fan. Cause to your point, with what I do professionally, I mean, obviously having kids at home and stuff like that, you got to stay cool as an example and stuff. But what I do professionally is pretty stressful, environment too. But are you that rock, that true north that people can come up to at where their heart rate lowers when they get close to you? They're just like, oh God, all right, we're going to figure it out regardless, and the reason that you can do that is because you prepare every day. Mm-hmm. Man, what was it that Bruce Lee used to always say? They used to talk about, why do you always train to fight when you're not, fighting and stuff like that? And he said, I would rather be a fighter in a garden than be a gardener in a fight. And it's one of those things where you constantly prepare. And I'm talking about from a mental perspective, not just physical. Yeah. But you're an example. I mean, you said it earlier, Cam, like there's people looking at you, and you, believe it or not, you may not physically know it, but you might have stood in the gap for somebody that day. Somebody might have been freaking out and came up to you and just had a conversation with you and went, you know what? Everything's okay. Just everything's okay. You know? So for me personally, I think it's just daily routine stuff that I do. You know, that's things that I take seriously, and to echo, you know, O's point, man, like when we were talking about the fixed mindset attracts losers. I'm just telling you, because when you have a fixed mindset, you want people that you feel good around, and people that you're going to feel good around are people that you know you can beat, or people that are below you. With that fixed mindset. So it's going to attract, you know, the low achievers and stuff like that. So being around you guys, and there's a conscious effort involved in that. That's the big thing. Like for me, that's where, like, you in the last episode, you mentioned something about, dude, it's simple. You're absolutely right. It is simple. It's not easy. Yep. Please understand the difference between simple and easy. They're two totally different things. Simple is little steps that you can do. You know, taking a step.
Anybody can do.
Yeah, anybody can do. Taking a step is simple. Running 100 miles is not. But all it is a bunch of steps. Yep. You know, it's the same thing with your growth and, you know, your personal perspective. So, you know, for me, that's how I do it. I mean, that's how I stay emotionally stable and things of that nature.
So for me, just to echo everybody's point, is routine in the morning. I have a routine, but this morning, just to be transparent, I didn't hit the snooze button. I hit the off button and woke up almost an hour and a half to 2 hours later than I was supposed to.
Gina.
Yeah. So thank God everything was going okay. But came into a whirlwind because I work from home, in a very stressful, very chaotic world that can go sideways in an instant. And to your point, to talking about when somebody can come to you and be like, are you the mental person that can kind of dissipate all this chaos? And literally I get multiple phone calls. I'm like, okay, answer this one, take care of that one, whatever. But it threw me off the whole day, because my normal everyday routine is to wake up an hour before the world wakes up and get my routine out of the way. So not having that 30 minutes of prayer time for me spiritually, like meditation for you, is very, very important for me. It's the foundation of my day. And not getting that in can mess everything up. And no kidding, every time I do miss a day, because there's a couple times that I have, it's a worse off day. Like the whole day is just something crazy starts to happen. So I think there's something to this, maybe, I don't know, but every single time, I'm less prepared maybe than I would normally be, and I feel like it's just more chaotic than normal. I don't know. There might be some mindset to that, but that definitely helps my mindset to tackle the day, and especially getting up right off the bat, right when the alarm goes off, like what JP was talking about. However, making the bed in my house would not happen because my wife is not up at the same time. So that's going to be like hours later, because I'm blessed to have my wife to stay home and take care of my kid. So it's really cool, but I like the idea of that. Would love to do that, but that doesn't happen.
Just making the bed in general?
Yeah, making the bed in general.
I love the idea of making the bed. No,
it's always messed. It's always a mess.
I'll tell you what's cool, though. When you start to form a habit, like you mentioned the 10,000 hours and stuff like that, you know, I don't always do it, but, you know, most of the time it's a win. But I obviously travel for work. I had a guy that worked for me that came up there because he had to grab something from my room that morning before we left out and stuff. And I opened the door and he was like, come on in, you know, and I gave him, I can't remember what it was I had to give him, but he was like, did you make your bed?
You're talking about your hotel room.
The hotel room.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
And he's like, did you make your bed? I was like, yeah. Yeah, actually,
I didn't realize
I did.
Yeah.
I did make my bed. And he was like, you know, they have people that come and do that, right? And I'm like, yeah. I subconsciously, you know, kind of going back to what we were talking
about. You're thinking, they also have people that'll raise your kids for you too.
But for a while, it's going to be a conscious effort.
Yep.
That's what we talk about. It's a challenge because it's going to be a conscious effort for a while, and then you develop that habit, and then it becomes subconscious, and then you add something else on top of it. That's how you become great, because now you have a bunch of subconscious.
All the subconscious stuff is now the foundation. You're starting you're starting from a different level. It's like a stair step. So you become that person. That's why typically, not always, like wisdom doesn't always come with age. Sometimes, as John Maxwell says, age just comes alone.
Right.
But if you're working on yourself throughout your life, the older you get, it would make sense that you would be wiser, and you'd be, that's some of those old dudes, you see some gray hair on some of these guys, you better start asking some questions and talking to them and figuring some stuff out, because they've been making their bed for years.
As you said before in the other episode, you better start listening to them.
Start listening to them. Exactly right. Ask 1 or 2 questions and then shut the hell up. Yeah. So that's awesome. What about and some of this is going to, kind of overlap, but like from a physical standpoint, like what are you doing? Let the listeners know what you're doing to equip yourself physically, like health wise, and I mean like just taking care of yourself, right? And then also, what are you doing to make yourself physically available for your family?
So I guess I'll go since I got cut off. But anyway,
you can finish your other thought about the spiritual side. Actually,
thought about spiritually. No, I was pretty much done with that. But it definitely is.
Oh, actually, you know what? I am going to interrupt you on the spiritual side, because there was something you were saying that was really important about when you don't do it, your day is different. And I believe, like you believe,
yeah, absolutely.
And everybody's allowed to believe whatever they want. But if I'm just attacking the day by myself, I'm not nearly as effective as if I'm attacking it with my faith.
Oh yeah,
right. So like,
which is powerful.
That's just me personally. Like I'm bringing a lot more to the table if I got my homeboy Jesus with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think you got the whole army of God behind you. I mean, you can tackle anything. You have a different perspective.
Just makes it a tougher day on your own.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's. I mean, it equips me. It puts my armor on it, if you will. To. I mean, guys, listen to this. I mean, there's a huge gap out there, and there's stuff you're going to be battling, whether you're there alone or you got your boys with you. I mean, hopefully you have some people that you can lean on and actually, be okay to be around that's going to help you get to a next higher level, and that's what this is all about. But to add to the physical thing, honestly, I struggled or have struggled and still have something that's something that I'm still trying to develop. I used to love to work out. I believe it or not, I used to love working out. And I've got to get back into it. But talking about mindset and about now standing the gap, I do need to. Because if I'm a fat slob and my son needs me to do something, or what if a wreck happens, or what if something happens to where I'm not physically able because I didn't take care of myself and I'm not able to do something, I would not live well with that thought. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of even re-listening to some of the thoughts that we had, some of the associations, some of the stuff that we're doing has changed my mindset in the sense of like, dude, I really need to get back in the game. And today, or actually the last 3 days, I've ran a mile. The first day, second day was 1.5 miles, and the third day was almost 3 miles, which I haven't done in forever. Yeah, Josh is looking at me like, what?
I praise your effort.
Yeah. So and one of those days, it was pouring down raining. And I decided to run out and go in the rain, and my wife's getting picked up by her friend and whatever. And I was like, hey, I can't talk. I'm running. So
you got more out of that day than the other one.
That's what I was about to say. Let me ask you a question. Did you feel better about yourself after you ran in the rain, or when you ran on a nice, cool evening?
The rain actually felt great, honestly, because it's usually a hot day. But beside the fact, after the fact was when it really set in. It was like, dude, most people wouldn't do this.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
And that's what you're getting
physical
at.
feeling, but just a matter of,
Yeah, it felt great. You could look at yourself in the mirror a little bit better that
And
day.
that's kind of where it overlaps, is because you go into how am I equipping myself to fill the gaps from a physical standpoint, but also from a mentality standpoint. Absolutely. Because now you're developing that mental toughness and that leadership and or that leader inside of you, not just you're getting more healthy.
Yeah. Well, the mentality behind it of saying you can go the extra step, yep. You can do it further. Or the whole time I'm talking to myself, I was like, I got this. And you're just positive reinforcement. And that's why I think you like working out so much, JP, is that it literally is a major mental game. And a lot of the things that we do in the gym, we could do so much more if you just get out of your own head. And I know we've worked out before in the past, and having you as there as like a coach, kind of like, come on, well, let's go. That's really cool. And if that's you, you need somebody in the gym helping you out. And the eating right, just eating. We're on a keto diet. I don't know. Everybody likes that kind of diet or whatnot or whatever. It's a huge craze, but it works. It does, and that's what we've been doing for healthy.
What about you, JP?
Yeah. So I mean, I think you start out having a physical routine, whether it's working out or doing some sit-ups or whatever level you're at. You do it and you think about what you have to do, and sometimes the start is maybe miserable for some people. Like, I don't want to be doing this. This is not my thing, which is fine. You don't have to like it. That's the great thing about growth. You don't have to like it, but you need to do it, kind of thing. But I think I've got to the point now from a physical perspective that I was listening to something months ago that was talking about testing yourself and finding out where your limits are. And I don't care if your limit is 1.5 miles and you're going to die. You gain so much mentally from doing that. Mm-hmm. that you can't find it anywhere else. The only way to do it is pure exhaustion. There's a reason that they do this stuff with the Navy SEALs and places where life and death situations are everywhere, kind of thing. So for me, I'll give you an example. Just recently, I had to go to Memphis for work, and
that's a mental growth environment right there.
Yeah. So I was, I was sitting there running, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go, get 3-4 miles in, because I'm about 215 now, weight wise. And you running long distances at heavy weight starts to get, whatever. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. And then I ran and I got to 4 miles and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit 5. We're going to get even 10, come back. Did it hurt? Yes. Was it, did I wake up the next morning, my Achilles tendons were sore and stuff like that? But there's a certain thing that I won while I was doing that, because there were so many times I had a conversation with myself like, dude, just stop. Like, just stop. Like, your brain wants you to do that anyway. So a lot of my physical training that I do now is to more so test myself, but also like look at where I can improve, because you have some very genuine conversations with yourself when you're exhausted. And then on the flip side of that, your energy level, man. Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm around my kids, I want my kids to feel me. Like, I don't want to just be in the room. I want my kids to feel me. Like, when we get out and we're playing and we're doing stuff, like, I want them to know me as, for one, I want to go down as being known as a hard worker. Like, I don't care if I'm a white collar job and stuff like that. I want my kids to be telling stories about, man, in the morning, man, when we get up, getting ready to go to school, we could hear the metal clanging in the garage. We knew Dad was out there, hitting them, in the morning or whatever. Like, that's what I want to be known as. I want to be known as a hard worker, because I want to set that example for the growth mindset, like what we talked about. It's a big part about standing in the gap, because when you start to gain confidence from things like that, you're more apt to step in the gap. Because a lot of times people do not, because they're not confident in it. Maybe they have good intentions. They might actually want to stand in the gap to move into an area where they need to, but they're not confident enough because of decisions they've made in the past. Or, maybe it's a situation where they're like, well, I'm not really, in good shape. I don't need to go do that or whatever. But I think it does develop a certain level of, confidence through effort. I mean, you become very proud of it, because it's just like anything else. It takes a lot of time. That's what when people are, come up and they're like, man, how long you been working out? I'm like, a long freaking time.
Most of my life.
Yeah. A long freaking time.
This doesn't just happen.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. But it's somewhat of a badge of honor, like, if I could ever grow out a beard, like, I'm going to be super proud of that beard.
How long have you been growing that beard? A long time.
My whole life.
I think for me, it's, and I'm going to say this just because I know I need to hear myself say it when I listen back to the podcast, but because I'm not in peak physical condition.
Your butt's on point, though.
Oh, dude. Squats for days.
Joggers
for days. But thanks, volleyball. But it's not just the girls that have nice asses in volleyball. The guys do, too. So.
Did you wear the shorts?
No,
different attire.
Yeah, different attire. Basketball shorts for us. But, no, I think it's... like I said, I'm going to say this just because I know I need to hear myself. And I've really been kind of coaching myself up and cheering myself up to take on Andrew Frisella's 75 Hard program, because I really just, my thing is I just want to know, I just want to be able to say I did it, right? And then I want to start the Live Hard program and say that I did that and be one of the first people that finishes it with them, you know, because he's still building that out. Phenomenal guy. But anyway, what, you know, we're talking about standing in the gap in a physical way. You know, do you want to be the blade of grass in the gap, or do you want to be the boulder in the gap? You know, what kind of physical condition are you wanting to be in for that? You know, are you the guy that people can come to and say, like JP, where it's like, you know, what are you doing, man? Like, what's some advice you can give me? Or are you the guy that's like, when are you going to get started? You know,
yep.
When are you going to get started, or, you know, what are you doing? It's kind of thing. And I know for me, I'm no stick figure or nothing like that. Like, I have the ability to look better than Josh, to be honest with you, but, you know,
I mean, who doesn't?
I just choose not to look that way, you know. But in all seriousness, I need to choose to look that way because, you know, I probably I would have more fun at home.
No, that actually wasn't a joke.
I'm only saying that because my wife's in there.
That was a direct comment. That was a bomb drop to the missus right there.
My wife tells me all the time, she's like, man, if you would just dedicate yourself to that, you would look phenomenal. You know, she tells me all that. You will, and I'm like, what's wrong with me now?
Right. Thanks, babe.
Yeah, but no, I mean, and that's not really what she says. I'm paraphrasing it in the way I hear it, but
right.
You know, but that's really what it comes down to, man. You know, are you in longevity? You know, I talk to my dad about this a lot because, you know, he's not in the best shape. He's shape, and I mess with him all the time. But that's the truth of it. You know, Dad, I really want you to be around when your grandson graduates high school. You know. And we were talking about health recently, so that's kind of important. But like, dude, I really want you around to be able to see your grandson graduate. Like, that's your lineage. And I know he's going to want you there, you know. He just recently stopped smoking, so look, if you smoke, whatever, dude. For one, you smell bad.
True.
That's the truth of it, you know. I think whatever you think about them, e-cigs, whatever, vapes, I think it's a phenomenal way to start stopping smoking.
Completely.
Yeah. Don't just go to vape and stick to vape because it's still bad for you because stuff doesn't belong in your lungs. It's the same reason. You get water in your lungs, your body doesn't like it. When you get smoke in your lungs, your body don't like it either. Doctor approved. So, but
what doctor? I'm not sure, but hey, we'll go with it.
All the doctors.
All the
that,
doctors,
you know?
I think.
Good Lord. But yeah, I think that providing that example, standing in the gap from a specimen level, physical fitness level, is incredibly important for longevity of your family, and providing that example of you know, helping your kid, like JP says in his episode the other day, legends form legacies. Golly, none of us can get that right.
I know.
Where he says working out for your kids is incredibly important. It is, man, because you are providing that example and standing in the gap. That's what we're talking about, is being there and providing that example for people. So, man, dude, eat right, stop smoking, and freaking hey, just go for a walk at the very least.
Just move. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Outwardly expressions of hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, hard work and determination pays off. That's one of the best outwardly expressions of that you can do.
And what you said, JP, is true. Like the physical side of it, when you break yourself down like that, then you start not only growing physically, but you start growing mentally. I believe you start growing spiritually if you pray like I do on the treadmill. You know, I mean, like there's all kinds of emotionally, you know, maybe some tears come out. I don't know, but it really is true. You know, I think you talked about a couple episodes back about breaking rocks or whatever, you know, I mean, there's a reason that, you know, leadership is built up that way. It's broken down, then built back up. So, and you know, some things to think about as we're talking about that is, you know, the importance of men to fill those gaps, you know. And actually, let me go back on one thing, because we did a good job of covering the health wise part of the physicality. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Physicality, yeah. On your point, you hit more on, aside from just the working out, but like eating right, not putting garbage in your body, you know. Like, and trust me, I am not judging anybody because I have put plenty of just dumb stuff in my body over the years. And trust me, it did not help me grow physically, and I was not standing in any gaps. I might have been laying in some ditches, but I wasn't standing in any gaps.
You were growing, but maybe horizontally.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But you know, also supplementing, man, like take some vitamins, you know. I don't get sick. I just don't. But I supplement like I'm like I breathe. I mean, I take a bunch of crap and it's good, and it's every day. There's no exceptions. I mean, I'm just telling you. So on top of doing the active moving stuff, make sure you're not just not putting bad crap in, but you're also putting good crap in. And it goes back to that whole tomorrow I want to be just as available for my family and my community and my church or whatever as I was today. Like if I'm sick and I'm not, listen, you're going to get sick every now and then. I get it. But if you're sick all the time, man, you might just look at some habits. Just look at some things that you could do differently. Because like Josh, what you were saying about being energetic around your kids, how about just being like not having days where you can't impact your children? If you're sick and you're laid up because you're not taking care of yourself, that's one day you missed. Like that's a day that you missed of like sewing into your kids or into your spouse or whatever, you know?
I think, and you're talking about, you know, feeding your body what it needs. I've actually experimented with that. So, you know,
yeah, me too. That's what I was talking about.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
what it didn't need.
Even when I'm going to work, so sales background, right? So I've got to be sharp and my brain needs to be working. So I'll go to Dunkin' on Fridays. Let me tell you the worst day that I have.
Start your day with a bunch of sugar.
Dunkin', yeah. Sugar. 10 donut holes and a large iced coffee. Yep. Well, I mean, I'm snacking on those through the day or whatever, but that's the issue. Now, the days I have 4 eggs and a piece or two of toast, sharp as a freaking knife. I mean, I'm ready to kill, you know, and those are my best days I sell. Yesterday, 4 eggs, 2 pieces of toast.
Crushing it.
Dude,
yeah.
Easy. Yeah,
and then when you get home...
Today I reaped the benefits of yesterday, but I had Dunkin' today.
But then when you get home too, it's not just the day is affected, but now like you're spent, because even on the Dunkin' days, you're still gonna stretch yourself and get done with what you have to do at work. But then you get home and you plop down and you're worn out, and you're like, I can't even play with my kids because I'm trying to process all this freaking sugar.
Yep, dude. And same thing, dude. Most people don't like going to the gym anymore because what did you eat before you went to the gym? What was the last meal you had? Did you have McDonald's before you went to the gym?
How many gyms have like donut nights and pizza nights and
God,
stuff
I was
like
about
that?
to say the same thing.
It's unbelievable.
There's some that they'll serve pizza and donuts there.
Beer?
It's like, what?
I used to work at a gym like 2 nights a week. They gave out free beer, not buy it, just free beer.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't even understand this. I mean, I'm okay with it, you know, but I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense, you know?
You're supposed to be promoting health.
And people would literally get done working out and they'd come upstairs and drink 3 or 4 beers. And I'm like,
it's a great marketing tactic.
Yeah, that's all it was. I mean, obviously, that's all.
We want you to have this so you keep coming back.
Yeah.
Well, everything starts in your gut. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter.
Yep.
I think a lot of the reason that we see a lot of the sickness and disease that you see today is not necessarily just because what people take in, because people take in a lot of crap. You know, a lot of processed foods and stuff like that, and fast food, and our lifestyles have got so hectic and busy, for a lack of better words. You substitute, you know, good food for fast food, and I don't mean just fast food like McDonald's. I mean anything like a frozen burrito or, you know, anything that you can get that's fast and stuff.
Microwave.
And one of the big things, and you hit on supplementation, you know, find a good supplement and be cautious about that, because supplements are crap. A lot of them are crap. So make sure you do your research. Don't just go blindly go buy some vitamins or go blindly get on some supplements and stuff. If you don't know, ask somebody that does, do your research and stuff. But to that point, I think it's what we've substituted real food with that's got us, because it's not necessarily what you take in, because most of the stuff will make a turd, you know.
Right.
It's a matter of what you don't get anymore that's killing you.
Right.
Yeah. It's what you're not getting that's killing you, because a lot of times that frozen burrito doesn't have the antioxidants in it, you know.
What?
Yeah.
Refried beans don't have
might
nutrition?
have some fiber.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of fiber.
But that's in my opinion. And then to your point, whenever you eat like crap like that and stuff, like you don't have that bounce about you, because your body doesn't. It's not balanced.
You're living on your heels, not the balls of your feet.
It's exactly right. Yep. So.
Okay, so like the mentality of all this is what I want, you know, the standing in the gap mentality. So you got to prepare, you got to equip yourself in these different arenas of life. But I think something that's important for people to understand is it's a non-selfish mentality, right? Okay, so it should be obvious that standing in the gap is not about you, right? It is really sincerely thinking about others. So like, do you have a mindset of serving others? And on top of that, is it all others or just the people that you really know real well, your immediate family? Because that's still a selfish mentality. As a man, in my opinion, yes, you prioritize your wife, prioritize your kids, prioritize your family. However, you still have a role to serve everybody. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. Are you more concerned about like how you do or don't know somebody, or are you just concerned about humanity as a whole, right? And what I love about you guys, and the reason that we're doing what we're doing, is because it is designed to grow men, but the reason we want to grow men is because we love people, right? And we understand that the male role, the masculine role in society has been watered down so much, and it's been weakened so much. And there's so many things that could be made right if we just get the men right, right? And we could go out there and say, I want to get the kids right, the wife right, the men right. No, I just want to, I am a man. I can help get the men right. And then I believe all the other stuff will come together. So, are you concerning yourself with humanity? Are you a blessing to anyone and everyone? Because you may actually, and this is the truth, and one of you said this earlier, you may actually be the only person that was a blessing to somebody that day. You could be the only person that day or that week or that month or that lifetime that actually took your eyes off yourself and put it on somebody else. And there's been story after story after story about people that could point to a time in their life where it was like this one dude said this or did this or this selfish or selfless act, and it totally changed their perspective on their world. Right? And if you think about that when you're preparing, when you read or when you meditate or pray or when you're in the gym or when you're doing whatever you're doing to equip yourself, if you really will just think about the person that's out there that doesn't have anybody in their life influencing them that way, hopefully that will help you get off your ass. Hopefully that'll keep you from hitting the snooze, right? It will me just saying it. And I love what you said about just hearing myself say these things. It's another level of conviction on it. Go ahead. Absolutely.
Another thing, and you're talking about impacting other people, and just a lot of times you don't know that you've impacted a lot of people,
right?
Well,
I'm going to bring the next thing I was going to ask is, are you doing it because it's the right thing to do, or because you're like looking for some recognition or reward?
Yeah. Fixed mindset, gratification, right? Yeah. So a lot of are you flexing over there?
Depending on JP's.
I was taking a selfie. I was handing you $1,
and then I was posting it on Instagram.
Yeah.
But that's the truth.
I'm handing money out. But there are videos that do that that make a ton of money because they're doing that. Anyway, the coolest thing is, and one thing that I've started doing since I've associated with you guys the years back, was I acknowledge everyone that passes me. For one, it's not a bad little safety thing when you're in certain parts, to acknowledge the person that's passing you. But one thing that I've started doing now that I'm in a corporate arena is I'll just compliment somebody. I'm very careful how I do it because you don't want to get in trouble with HR, right? But,
right.
I'll pass them. Like, hey, good morning, man. Dude, I love those shoes. Dude, where'd you get those shoes at, man? But a small comment, 2-minute conversation. Oh yeah, I got them at Kohl's. Sweet, dude. I'm gonna have to go check those out. Like, those are nice. That simple.
Yep.
Dude, even if you got to pretend, they could be like, I'm not going to say that's somebody New Balance, obviously.
Yeah, I want to touch on that. Please be genuine.
You be genuine. Don't be fake about it. Dude, those are some sick New Balance, bro. Yeah. They're not sick New Balances, bro. They're New Balance.
And don't.
I just got some New Balance, and they're really cool. So I'm going to not listen to anything you just said. They're not the white ones with the Velcro straps.
All right. Bro, I just got some white on white New Balance. These are the sickest shoes ever.
Can't wait to get some grass stains on these bitches.
Oh yeah, I'm about to push mode this weekend.
In your jean shorts and your white.
Is that?
And your white.
That's out too.
Dude, I've got to show you the 4th of July dad starter kit.
Yeah, I was thinking dad bod or dad.
Yeah, that's
look.
And this is what society has turned dads into.
And you need to be very careful to be genuine. Don't compliment something that you don't like.
Well, you'll mess them up if it's not real.
Yeah, if it's not real, or if you don't know anything about sports, don't walk up to their San Francisco 49ers shirt and say,
"Are you a fan of that team?
South Florida fan? That's awesome, man."
Florida, bro.
I didn't say that for the record. He is talking about Wilson, because I do not like sports.
Do you live in that place
like that? I said, "Do you live in that place? Do you like that team?" I was trying to create a conversation, but I had no idea what SF standed for. And I got back into Cam's car, and he goes, "What were you trying to do? What do you think SF stands for?" And I was like, "I don't know, South Florida or something?" I had no idea.
Which it could, but not if it's a 49ers logo.
Yeah, I didn't see that. So anyway, but yes, I guess the point is be genuine, but be friendly.
Right.
Carry a smile. Don't be like, RBF all the time. Actually think positive. Have a good outlook on life.
And that's big. You could change someone's whole day with that.
Absolutely.
Someone could be like down and out, and you're like, "Hey man, good morning, dude. Yo, those shoes are sharp."
And if they had a Dunkin' morning, they're probably waiting for somebody to give them a compliment, like sincerely, or if it just hit the fan when they left, or whatever, wife and him got into it. Dude, it's so important, and it's the responsibility, I believe. And we talked about this last episode. It's the responsibility to go, it's on me, not anybody else.
Yep.
Right.
How this day is going to go for anybody that interacts with me is going to be good because I'm gonna do something that'll help it go good. Yep. So,
and it's not about us. It's about them.
It's the selfless act. It should be, anyways.
Yep.
So and we're talking about this, and I believe that it is simpler to equip yourself if you have this accountability, like what we have here with each other. Mm-hmm. So are there any other things as far as like what you're leaning on to fill your own personal gaps?
Well, I'll say, speaking to the speaker, like say you're listening to this and you're like, well, that's not me. I'm not a person who goes talk to people and doing all this other nonsense. Dude, just try. And if you're not, like, if you're so introverted and so fearful, basically,
did you say really inverted? If they're upside down?
No, what is it?
Introverted.
Introverted. Thank you. Autocorrect.
Sorry, I would have corrected you earlier, but you threw me off with the spirit fingers that you just hit a second ago.
Yeah. You're so, what is the word? Introverted. Thank you.
Can you repeat the word?
Yeah,
can you use it in a sentence, please?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry. Can you?
All right, Josh. If you're so hung up on yourself and so fearful of others, just say their name. Go to a store that has name tags. Like, hey, Mike, how you doing today? Or whatever. It's just something just to kind of get yourself out of that the mold, or it gets you a little uncomfortable. And it's okay to be uncomfortable. You're growing if you're uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And standing in the gap means that you should be a better you. And by being a better you, you're impacting other people around you. If you come into a room and it goes dark, you got some problems. So be the positive person and think positively, I think would be the first step of equipping yourself, of saying, okay, instead of taking the negative approach of saying how bad this could go, say, well, what if this goes right? And if it goes right, then it's going to trickle, because I don't know if y'all have ever seen that commercial where one person did a good deed and another person did a good deed and it just kept on trickling out. Well, same thing as negative. Negative is going to spread just as fast as positive if you just allow it. And if you get positive received to you, give it back to somebody else and keep that thing going. But equipping yourself, being positive.
Yeah, and the reason that I wanted to have this topic tonight is because just some things that have happened in our life, in our own household this past week, that just brought things to light again, or just a reconviction of it, was just how necessary it is. How necessary it is for people to have somebody they can lean on. Even if it's just like, I just need a hug, man. I just need somebody I can like just put my head on for a minute. Like, do they have that? Are you in their life and they still feel like they don't have that? Not always like, do I have all the words, and I'm not, so I hope nobody gets confused on that. I'm not expecting you to be a genius or be a counselor or to be whatever. I'm just expecting you to have it together. Like, when everybody else feels like it's falling apart, can they just go over to you and just have peace, right? Can they find some kind of peace in your presence? Do they feel love from you? Do they feel support from you? Do they feel stretched from you? If they have gaps in the physical side of things, can they get around you and go, I want to be better, and I know for some, this is going to be a really challenging thing to start considering, but it really becomes like, am I doing what I need to do to be the best me I can be? Not for me, but for everybody else that's around me. Even those people I don't know. I don't even know their name, but I'm making their day better, And to go back to what I was talking about earlier, like, if somebody's like really struggling and you don't even really know who they are you still available? Right? Because the truth of the matter is, man, our role as men in society is not, if you're going to be in any kind of leadership role whatsoever, it's not just going to be leading your immediate family. It's going to be stepping in for that other person that doesn't have a dad or doesn't have a grandfather or doesn't have a boss that's worth a crap or whatever it may be, So, for time's sake, I want to kind of cut to the chase on some of this stuff. But, one thing I want to make sure I do mention is, if you are struggling with something, right? Like, don't be a freaking hero. Don't be a wimp. Don't be a pussy. All right? Don't misunderstand what I'm saying right now. But don't be a freaking hero. Like, if you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Like, if you've got stuff that really has got just ingrained in you and gotten deep down, like, you need to let that crap out, and you need to find a brother or a dad or a friend or somebody that you can communicate with, okay? And that's why it's so much more important for that somebody that you reach out to be ready for it.
And I think that's more prevalent in men than it is in women, and that's
100%.
really applicable to this podcast and this movement. Just because men are naturally prideful, they don't want to ask for help, they don't want to reach out. It's a certain level of weakness, and I know we talk about being tough and being driven and stuff like that, and I think all that stuff is important, but don't be stupid. There's a difference.
If your ego gets in the way, I mean, that doesn't make you a tough guy.
Right. Absolutely not. That makes you weak.
It makes you a boy.
Yeah. Insecurity, once again. And I think that's something that a lot of men could learn from women. I mean, and it goes back to, if you look at stuff like the doctor, like most men don't go to the doctor. Right. You know, I don't need to go to the doctor. Most women will go to the doctor if they break a nail.
Yep.
But I think for a man, it's a little bit more of a pride thing. I don't need to go to the doctor. I'm fine. I'm good. You'll have a problem. I'm good. And I'm guilty of that a lot, because you don't want to ask for help as a man. You don't want to ask for help and stuff. And I mean, going back to what you said, that's one thing that I admire about you most, Wilson, is the fact that you truly do just talk to everybody. I mean, with no really not looking for anything in return.
Nope.
It's something that I have to consciously work at. It's something that, I spend time in airports around a lot of people a lot of times. And I find myself putting, earbuds in, stuff like that. And a lot of times it's listening to stuff that's going to make me better, but it's also doubles as, if I have these in, maybe they won't talk to me. Right. I mean, that's just being completely transparent. And I have to be conscious about the fact that having conversations with people might brighten their day. That I might have something to say that they need to hear, or I might have an ear that they just need.
Or they may give you something that you like, dang, that's good stuff.
Or I might get something from them. Yeah.
It could be, I remember having random conversations with some cool cats, and it's like, dude, I'm so glad I said hi to you.
You'll never know.
Really
you
cool.
never know.
Never know.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is how this whole entire table
How this whole room came together.
is me talking to you, you know? So, I mean, it's just, you never know. And if you're about humanity, dude, get out of your own skin and get out of your own your crap and just go out and say, hey, what's up? And that's how friends are usually
But my
made.
whole point behind that is some people it comes natural, some people it's a conscious effort, and you have to make a conscious effort. And I'm sure, like, excuse me, O'Neal, like what you were talking about, you get to the point where you talk to everybody now, like you say hi, you engage with everybody. Cameron, I know you're really good at it too and stuff. But that wasn't natural. I mean, that's
no. Your whole life you're told don't talk to strangers.
That's right. Yeah, it's tough for a lot of people.
It's really hard to serve people if you don't talk to them. Then
Right.
But that's what I'm getting at. Most of the listeners probably are like, "What? You guys are crazy. I'm not going to talk to everybody. I'm not going to say hi to everybody. Like, that's weird. There's a lot of weird people out there. Yeah, there are. Yep. But that weird person that you said hi to, that might make their day. I mean, you never know how big of an impact that is. They might look at you and go, "Man, that dude's really sharp." And then when you come, you go, "Hey, good morning. How are you?" and stuff. They might go, "Holy shit."
Yeah. They find value in themselves.
Maybe I am worthy. Yeah.
He just acknowledged me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of people that find themselves lost or just want to be acknowledged.
Yep.
So when you're walking past that guy or gal in the hallway, and you're like, hey, good morning, how are you?
Well, it goes back to that whole thing, like, non-present dads or whatever, and people develop these mentalities of not having self-worth because their dad wasn't around, or even if he was around physically, he wasn't around mentally or emotionally. And so just like what you're saying, like you're filling that void.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, and just coming from, I'm the gamer at the table, right? So I think coming from that background and using that mindset is, are you the protagonist of your story? Or
that is such a big word. I'm from Mississippi.
Or are you the main character in your story? Or are you what I would call the NPC, the non-played character, right? On the side, watching everything, Do you control the flow? Or do you watch others control the flow? If you're going to stand in the gap, then you got to be, quote unquote, the hero, the protagonist in the story. That's all it is. Don't be the antagonist. Obviously, everybody knows don't be the bad guy.
I get it now.
Yeah, right. It's a protagonist.
I feel kind of stupid for not knowing that, except for I don't think I'm stupid. I'm more surprised that I didn't know that than anything, because I feel like I'm pretty damn smart. Protagonist, I like it.
Protagonist.
I should
be the hero in your story. You know what I'm saying? Don't be not
the beat your chest hero.
Yeah. Be the good guy. You know what I'm saying? Reach out, say hi to people. Like it's not a weird thing. It really isn't, dude. It's just being human.
Yep.
Say hi to people, dude. It's weird to walk past somebody and not say hi.
Especially when you make eye contact.
Yeah.
You make eye contact and it's
weirder.
like nothing, and then they look away like, oh, crap, they looked at me.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, man, I'm a human, you're a human, let's go.
It's even worse than that is when they don't look away.
Okay, that's yeah.
And don't say anything.
Just walking past, they're all
This is not weird. Then just stare back at them and go, awkward.
Well, some societies and some cultures actually are like that, unfortunately. Yeah. And here in America, there's people that are out there, and I think this is where Cam is probably headed toward, is there's people out there hurting. And you never know what a good smile and a hi could do for somebody. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to get at down here.
Keep in mind, we are in the South, so there's Southern hospitality. So if you're in New York and you're like walking past somebody, hey, how you doing? Like, that's a little different.
Yeah, don't be weird.
Society, right?
Don't be weird.
Don't be weird. You don't have to be weird.
We're not saying be weird. We're saying think of others. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just think of other people throughout your day. And think of other people throughout your own personal time, because then you'll develop yourself to be available for whatever's needed. I always think about it this way. Like, if it was like a movie and it's the apocalypse and everything was going down, are you the guy that's still standing there that some other little kid can run up to that might be from across town, and you're like, that kid feels secure because you're there? Right. So as we're wrapping up here, just some things to think about. Know your roles, right? As a man, know how important they are. Know how important those roles are. Know that you may be the only one on earth that can fill the gaps that you're called to fill. That's very true. Know that if it all hits the fan, that everyone and everything around you, you stand. If it's all going down, you stand. And know that because you stand, others will be able to stand as well. Know that people are counting on you to be a man. It's true. Society is counting on you. Get excited about the pressure and the responsibility that comes with that. And that might sound just totally off to some people, but you should be excited about the pressure and the responsibility that comes with being a man. And every time it feels like it's too hard to stand or it's too much, just call on your brothers. They'll stand in the gap with you. Call on the shepherds. We're going to be here every time. So we're going to wrap it up. We have enjoyed being with you guys today. I would encourage you to listen to this maybe multiple times. There's going to be different nuggets you get throughout this episode. You can find this on Spotify. You can find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, all the different channels. Our website, shepherdsof.men, and of course all the social media links through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the one where you wear suits. That's LinkedIn. Privilege being with you guys tonight. Love you guys that are here at the table and excited about growing in ourselves and going out and impacting others and standing in the gap. That is the Shepherds of Men, and this is the movement.